This is the grid that the Bombers call home.
You're throwing the tee in the ground. If your hand's not shaking, there's something wrong.
I'm in my element. It's evident that there's levels to the game. I'm in my element. Flow is like water. I'm forced to a fire. I'm feeling like gold. Gotta stay grounded, stay down to earth. Following God and you grinding, you do as you told. I don't work to make you like me, but I'm front and center. Word to Spike Lee. I'm in my element. Yeah. I'm in my element. Yeah. I'm in my element. I'm in my element. Yeah. I'm in my element. Yeah. I'm in my element.
The wind is ripping.
Howling.
It is. We are live at the home of Long Drive in Mesquite, Nevada, round number 3. Group 3.
Group 3.
Group 3.
I'm Alexis Belton here with Bobby Bradley. We've already had an eventful morning. We started the morning at 6 miles per hour. Now we're up to 20 miles per hour. We saw some big numbers like 4:15. I think today, this afternoon, we are going to see a lot more bigger numbers coming out of the gate. We've got Kyle Berkshire already up there in this first group.
Seamus just talking about, Seamus is our PA announcer, talking about if it does keep up this wind speed, if not faster. They hit the back of the grid, it's 476 yards. So,
and it's going to be a tie if that's the case.
Yeah. If multiple guys are hitting at 476, which is, I mean, it's definitely possible. The wind is whipping.
Without a doubt. If you're just joining in with us, we are in the round of 64s, dwindling down to 32. This is World Long Drive. We are hitting 6 balls in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. The top guys will move on to tomorrow for 32, 16, breaking down all the way to 8, where they will have head-to-head matches, which is a lot of fun. And then we will crown a champion for our open division as well as our senior division, not masters, but seniors.
Well, yeah, Sebastian Tudell, just thinking about the guys that looked impressive today, Justin James, Greg Nall, Casto. I mean, there wasn't really, like you keep saying, any real upsets this morning.
We did have a great playoff finally this year.
It was, yeah.
With Landon Gentry, Josh Jackson, who we'll have here in the booth coming soon. And who's our third in that group?
You're putting me on the spot right now. This gentleman that is making his rookie debut.
He is, which is a great rookie debut. Zach?
Well, don't think so.
No.
But Matt Nicole looked really good.
He did.
Matt Nicole looked great. So here, Scotty Pearman was the one that was on the outside looking in. It was Lucas Weichel.
Lucas.
Yeah, Lucas ended up getting in with a 386-yard drive. Landon Gentry going 415 in the playoff. But Greg Nall looked good. George Haggerty, Gentry, Galladay, Tyga's in. We're going to have Josh Jackson here in the booth in a little bit. But Matt Nicole broke his elbow doing box jumps right before Worlds and didn't compete at the World Championships last year. But the LDET Player of the Year, I mean, Matt Nicole being from the UK, looked phenomenal.
He put on a show. Yeah,
212 ball
phenomenal.
Speed. 212 ball speed, no movement in his golf ball. And he looked really impressive. Jacob Galladay and George Haggerty. I feel like those 3 guys are very similar hitters, and they did extremely well in these conditions. Right now we have a southwest wind, more south-southwest. Let's take a look. Yeah, right there, south-southwest, 20 miles per hour, 73 degrees currently in Mesquite, Nevada. 64 guys enter battle. 32 will survive today. 1 man will win tomorrow. But we got the 2019 and 2021 world champion Kyle Berkshire in slot number 1. Andrew Iger, who ended up winning the amateur division last month in Hobe Sound, in slot 2. Glenn Wilson coming back. He had a 1-year hiatus where he didn't compete last year, but Glenn Wilson at one point in time was the fastest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
So we got Glenn out of Houston, Texas, and then Timothy Gregg. So curious to see how Glenn starts off. A veteran of the sport.
Good to see him out here.
Great dude and a really, really, really good hitter. I believe he won in Denver, 2017, the event that I was at, where Kyle Berkshire, I believe, took a third-place finish. So out in Utah.
And before we get started, I did want to give a shout-out to Xander, Scotty's son. It was his birthday today. Scotty didn't make it through, but he did advocate very well for preemie babies, as Xander was that, and he is turning 5 today, which is a miracle in itself. So happy birthday, Xander.
Happy birthday, big guy. All right. Kyle coming out of the blocks here. This one's OB left, but 224 mile per hour. The fastest ball speed we did see this morning was from Sebastian Twiddell, who was in complete control of his tempo and timing, and his ball speed was 215 to 220. The first 3 sets, ended up winning 3 straight sets. Went OB his 4th set, but his 5th set, he ended up going 227. And Glenn Wilson, how about that? Nice start here. Take a year off there, big guy, and put one down 400 right down the middle. But
Great set.
Yeah. But Berkshire just trying to get a number on the board, 220, 219 right down the middle, 2,300 spin, 211 in height. This is going to be a big number. Wouldn't be surprised to see the longest ball of the day. Well, here it is, 415 is the start. So that's the number currently, is 415 yards.
And if you're just joining us, we kind of broke down a little bit of what's happening right now, but you also might see some of the guys switch up their clubs. So in long drive, you're able to have as many drivers as you'd like. They're on the grid with you. We saw Kyle put one right in the middle for a 415. Now he's got another club, and I think he's just going to figure out what's going to be the bread and butter for this event.
Yeah, Kyle with a 415 ball. He just went 227. Looks like he's just missing just a little left here. Andrew Eigner, this sets up good for him. Lefty, not going to be, like putting up 210, 212 ball speed, but look at this. 206.9, so he's getting faster. He'll be in the amateur division as well.
Won the amateur division in Hope Sound?
Yep, he did. So.
Yeah, for a lefty, this sets up perfectly.
Yep. And he might, be pressing just a little bit. He's going up against, Kyle, and maybe wants to swing a little bit harder, not staying within himself, because Andrew's a guy that hits a lot of balls in play and probably a little bit more comfortable at 203, 204 ball speed. But
he had a good final ball right there. It was a little high, but you could see him earlier just kind of working on laying off that swing just a little bit more in order to have a little bit of control of the ball, and that's what he did there, even though it wasn't the optimal shot that he desired.
We'll see if Andrew got his last ball in play. Kyle with 1 out of 6. Say the good thing we talked about, Kyle's going to say he didn't have a very good set there. I was really keying in on his ball speed. I mean, he's the fastest guy out here right now, just to start off the tournament. So he wasn't doing like the Justin James and Seth Twiddell where they're, they have that ball speed up to the 230s. Kyle just came out of the blocks, putting up some big ball speed numbers. So curious to see if he kind of takes that approach the rest of the way, where he's just going to try to put up 225, 230 ball speed. But Berkshire takes down the first set at 415. Andrew Eigner ended up going OB on his last ball, but Glenn Wilson, after a one-year hiatus with a 400-yard drive right out of the chute. So Berkshire at 200 points, Glenn Wilson at 100, Timothy Gregg at 50 points, and Andrew Eigner with an OB set. Mark Costello, Jeff Schmuck, Cameron Weckerly, Bryce Mooney. Bryce ended up qualifying yesterday for the World Championships. He ended up going through the local and regional qualifiers, Stage 1 and Stage 2.
Wow.
And making an appearance at the World Championships in Atlanta in October. Once again, GF Sports and Entertainment is proud to present to you 11 tournaments this year, World Long Drive events, which include the World Championships in Atlanta.
Be a fun event at Bobby Jones, 10 miles away from where I live.
Costello, nice little ball down the middle, not one of his center strikes per se, because he's a guy that you're going to see at 220, but 208 right down the middle. Costello was one of the guys that didn't make it into the round of 32, one of our surprises
so close.
Yeah, last event, but Costello is a guy that can win a tournament, and he does really well on this grid too. So he's starting off with a 395, Jeff Schmuck at 411.
Putting up ball speeds at 220 already out of the gate.
Yep. Costello with a big ball down the left side. Curious to see if this one stays in play or not.
Bryce with a smooth swing.
I mean, I feel like right now with the wind, like 425, 430s in play.
Without a doubt. But it always starts off a little bit slower. And then they say, what is it, around your, I think, 15th ball or whatnot is when speed really picks up. It's like the optimal time to gear up in your swing.
I'm liking these numbers from Costello. That one looks like it's out of bounds, and we just lost our monitors, and we didn't break any monitors, so we're good. We're safe. Slight gust of wind there.
If you can't hear this, it is gusting out of every single area. Hard to kind of
Yep.
keep things.
We might need a little bit more tape there. No announcers were hurt during the filming of this broadcast.
Not yet.
Not yet. But, yeah, big old gust of wind. Mark Costello, 410. Jeff Smuck, 411. Bryce Mooney, 379. And Cameron Weckley is 378.
The thing that makes this a little bit complicated, though, it is that southwest wind, and so it's going hard left to right. If they can make sure they start this ball out on the left side, close to the OB edge, and let it fall a little right, that's where you're going to get the most yardage.
Yep. Yeah, we just got a nice little kick win there.
All right.
We ended up losing a couple of the monitors, but the monitors are not broken, I don't believe.
No, it looks like Mark Costello might take this one. Actually, Jeff Smuck will take this one at 411, and we will come back with a final number after this.
Introducing the new Bridgestone E9 Long Drive, co-designed by world long drive athletes to push the limits of distance. Thanks to extreme ball speed and superior aerodynamic flight. Engineered for you to hit your longest drive. Drive the new E9 Long Drive, extreme distance for your game.
Back in the booth, Jeff Smuck takes down the set at 411. Josh Jackson, what's up, big guy? How are you?
What's going on?
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
First playoff of the year that we've had.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I mean, what was your game plan going in? I mean, we talked about Landon Gentry being a veteran, been doing this a long time, like getting a ball out and play right away. And I believe you got one. You were 383. How many balls did you get in that set?
Out there, right?
I'm sorry. Say that.
You got your first ball out there, right?
Yeah, first ball out there. So the wind switched up, and I started just riding the wind right around third set or so because I started out so slow, ridiculously slow. So I started playing a cut. My mentality was like just keep it up the left side of the flag, try to turn it over. That's why that last one I had I don't know, my face was open.
Yeah.
Pretty well on that. So yeah, I mean overall I was just trying to make sure I had a decent one in play, and I just kept catching it a little high on the face, and yeah.
Well, that was
got squeaked out by a couple yards.
We were talking about it a little
Good
bit
adjustment
earlier.
to make.
What we were watching is almost as if you're trying to figure out what club is that go-to club. Can you talk me a little bit through? I know we talked a little bit about what you're kind of searching for equipment-wise to make sure that every single time you're up there you have that go-to.
So for me, I like more of the golf setup because, I mean, I try to hold the finish, to hold my balance and stuff when I'm out there. I just try to make sure my technique is on point. I don't really care about the speed, if that makes sense. I'm more for efficiency. So I want something that can hold up or still have that golf feel to it, not too light, but still able to I'm able to feel the face on it. When I'm if I mishit it or something like that. That's my main thing for setup. So right now I'm still going through some things as far as trying to figure out my equipment setup per se. I'm close, really close, but yeah, today I just started out so slow that
You are really close. We've seen that over the last couple of events. You're right there, so I'm excited to continue to watch you as the season goes on.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I've been working pretty hard at making sure I'm flighting everything right. So I've hit some decent drives out there today, but
no, it's a good adjustment to make, like you said, going left to right. Because I if you go back and you watch your sets, I talked about you hitting a cut against someone similar ball speed that was hitting a draw, and you ended up winning by 13, 14 yards. So there was a big difference. So you have to make changes on the fly, and we're talking about someone that is knocking on the doorstep of a win. Zach Holton at 432 yards, just putting on a clinic right now. We felt 425, 430 is a good number right now with this wind, and Zach has been on fire. And we talked about earlier with Greg Null and him, they had 500 points and didn't get in, but you had, what was it, 450? Where were you at, 400?
I was right at 400.
Yeah, so, but yeah, like I said, you just got to keep putting balls in play, no OB sets, and, you always give yourself a chance. But, yeah, you were knocking on the doorstep of a Final 16 last time in Hope Sound. So, I mean, you're really, this is the first time I've seen you really, truly, you know, you're coming out to events. Are you going to come out to all the events this year?
I'm gonna try to come out to every single event. I know that the LaSalle one, more than likely not gonna make that, but Memphis, gonna go for that one, and then finishing out from there. So I'm excited about this year for sure.
So give us a little bit on your background. Like, tell everybody about yourself.
Yes, I mean, as far as like, we'll kick it off at college. College, I started out as like, you know, scholarship football athlete for Eastern Kentucky. I ended up.
What position?
So it was linebacker at the time. So I ended up transferring schools over to Kentucky State University, and they ended up giving me a shot to. I say give me a shot to like try out for the golf team, but they were like, oh, well, we don't know if you're good enough. I'm like, I break par. Like just off of playing with my dad and stuff, and they let me try out, and I ended up sweeping their entire team and winning as the number 2, win all conference, and then played another year from there. But
So
that's
please
when
tell me you quit football.
No, I was doing both. So like spring was crazy. Like I would do the lifting and stuff with the football team, and then get in the van and then go down to like Morehouse and play against like, you know, playing like classics and stuff. And my driver was just all over the place because of all the lifting. So I was just out there punching iron down the fairway, playing stingers on that clay, and just, you know, trying to help the team out as much as I possibly could.
So when did the switch to long drive happen?
So switch to long drive happened after I ended up I tore my patella tendon like completely, like wasn't attached to anything. Then I ended up like once I recovered, I was like, oh, my left knee doesn't hurt too much, and then started trying to put up some numbers, and I was cracking 130 pretty good. Then I was like, let me see what happens if I actually like try to, you know, train for it. And I ended up adding like, you know, 10 to 15 or almost like 20 miles an hour depending on the day. And then from there, I ended up actually starting out here. I went for a local here back in like, I think it was like 2018 or so.
Wow.
And I just gave myself the ultimatum. I was like, if I don't break 400, I'm just gonna stick with regular golf and keep it moving. Like, it's all good. And I ended up breaking 400 a couple times, and I was like, all right, cool. I think I belong here
Then
a
you
little
caught
bit.
the bug.
Yep.
The long drive bug.
Yep, definitely.
Well, it's good. Like we always said, for me, like playing baseball, it was fun to have like I guess a different outlet to compete and get the competitive juices flowing. And there's nothing better than just to swing as hard as you can and just destroy a golf ball.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it can get addicting really quick.
Would you rather center punch a 400-yard drive or just sack the quarterback?
Oh man, I mean,
That's
this
a great
is pretty close. You know what I'm saying? It's depending on the situation and stuff. I mean, I like this more. It's less contact on the body. You know what I'm saying? Like,
But there's got to be something like a clean hit, though.
Yeah.
You know?
but I don't know. I mean,
Maybe
like,
if you whenever
clean
you win
tackle.
an event, we'll put, you know, one of those football dummies out there.
oh yeah,
And you
yeah.
can just hold up the trophy, run out, tackle.
I'm a water boy that thing. You know what I'm saying? Definitely.
All right, Brandon Flynn, 416. Zach Holton with the longest drive of the day at 432. So Holton, Berkshire, and Schmuck both have wins. Jim Waldron, Brandon Flynn, Victor Bourget, and Joe Foley. Everybody's going 400 right now.
Yeah, this
The-
is a
No, this
big
is excellent.
difference from whenever you were hitting. It was maybe
They have the,
you know,
they have
5
the wind
miles
going
per
behind
hour, a
them.
little bit slower. But right now you've got a huge gust. It's great to see Jim back out here again.
Jim, semifinalist, I believe, in 2018 at the World Championships. And Jim ended up winning a title in was it XLD or was it ULD? Whatever. He ended up winning the tournament.
believe
Was
it
it
was
2000? Yeah, 2021.
So
So-
we've been talking about how much long drive is a family. Is there anyone that you travel with or that you're close with while you're out here?
Yeah, Andrew Cody. We've been
Drew.
linking up for the the season so far, Hope Sound, and then this one also. It's been great, to be able to iron sharpens iron. So to be able to get a couple sets in, before the event, and then also during the event, and try to do 3-ball sets against each other. It really helps out when it comes to transferring that over to the grid. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's been great so far.
I love the camaraderie that's out here. If you had a walkout song, I know you're from DC. You're from DC or you're living in DC?
I'm in Cincinnati.
Oh, you're in Cincinnati?
Yep.
Okay, I didn't know
I
that.
coach over at Swing Fit Golf Club. And,
All right. Well,
yeah.
being a Cincinnati guy, if you have a walkout song, what would your walkout song be?
Oh no, it's definitely gonna be some Nipsey Hussle or something like that. Probably like grinding on my
Right,
life. Like,
no,
oh yeah, if we can get that'll produce some nasty numbers, on the grid too. But yeah, that'll definitely be a walkout song for me.
Jim
Welcome
Waldron.
back, Jim.
Yeah, 429. And then Brandon Flynn, one thing I was looking at Flynn's numbers, 214 on his last ball. He was 208 to 210 in Florida. So an extra 4 or 5 mile per hour on Brandon Flynn's ball is lethal. And we saw Matt Nicole as well go, 212. I had never seen, I've competed against Matt for 10 years. I've never seen him go that fast. So everybody's pushing the speed limit here. And when you first got in, you said you were right around 130. Like, ball speed numbers. What's the fastest ball speed you've ever put on like a TrackMan or a quad or Flight Scope?
217. I actually did it like 3 days ago or so.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm just like trying to, like I said, like just trying to match everything up and make sure that I'm like flighting it right, spinning it right for like different conditions and everything. Like that's the big thing for me. Like I think the speed is great, but I mean, like you guys saw earlier, like if you don't hit the grid, it all really doesn't matter. And that's what held me back a little bit today, like missing the grid a little bit.
Well, I mean, it just really comes down to getting your game reps in too. If you only competed a few times over the last couple of years, it's really hard to get in a rhythm. And like we talked about Seb Twiddell, he's going to hit it every single tournament, whether it's in the UK or it's in the United States or Canada. I see him at the end of the year being a factor to win a world championship. Right now, like I said, he's still getting better, tightening up his dispersion and putting balls in play. But yeah, the more experience you get on these grid and tournaments, you're only going to get better. You're only going to improve, and you're going to learn what you're capable of and what you're not capable of. So, but yeah, like you making that slight change to hit a cut. Is more of a veteran play. It's like I got to change something up here. Yeah. Like you really, when you have a hard left to right wind, you can't hit a draw into it. You're gonna get
not at all. You have to play golf. You know what I'm saying? And I'm playing professional golf this year, so like I definitely use that expertise over on the grid, especially when it comes to like reading the wind and trying to like figure out what flight, what shot shape, all that.
I think a great example of that is Glenn. He's been in this sport for so long. He's got just this expert knowledge that he has, which is why he's able to come out here and put on a show.
Yep, Glenn at 392. Costello still working on a number, but it looks like Costello's ball is OB right.
Yeah, Glenn sent one up the right side right there. Hopefully it stays in. That'll be a huge one.
And if you are joining us on YouTube right now, please leave some questions while Josh is here, and we'll have him answer those, or just check in and say hi. We've had some awesome people join in, some of the most historic and goats of the game, like Jason Zubak. We had Mike Dobbin, as well as a few others.
So right now I'm looking at Costello's ball. He had 63 yards of left to right, but we saw like Seb Twiddell have like 50 yards left to right and still stay in play. I don't know if that one stayed in play or not, because he might have started it way out left. Just Costello needs to straighten it up just a little bit. Just shut that face just a little bit at impact, because he's going to put up some huge numbers. Like, I like these numbers that launches in his highs I'd like on Costello's ball, but I wouldn't be surprised if this one takes the lead. Costello, 420, bang.
Yep.
Yeah, he rode the wind on that one.
That was huge.
So when you're looking at these numbers now Josh is sitting in a booth with us. There's certain things that you kind of look at in the tournament. Goes like, for me, I'm looking at left to right. So you look, that one didn't pull up on Costello's ball. That one was way too much, 251 feet left to right. So that's taking up like the grid plus. But boom, Costello tightened it up, 434, longest ball of the day. Costello is just barely off. He was barely off in Hope Sound. Just shut the face just a little bit, because he's going to hit a cut. There's no doubt. But Costello, this grid sets up really, really good for him just because of the southwest wind. So figuring it out, Costello's got 300 points, 434, longest ball of the day. Glenn Wilson at 392. Joe Foley at 388, and no numbers from Hunter Knoll. All right. Who's your pick to win it today? Or tomorrow. You can pick now.
I always like Martin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When Martin or Justin, I think they're, I really like how Justin like flights the ball
Yep.
and
Yeah.
everything. But it can be anybody's for real. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah.
it's always a matter of, who can flight it the best that day and who can, put the most speed on it. So, but yeah, I think Martin.
He's 2 for 2 on this grid with this golf ball too. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
solid
I
choice.
like his flight
Yeah.
on that one for
That's
sure.
the only
Yeah.
person that Bobby picks too.
Oh, we
have-
already know. we
Actually,
already
now.
know.
No, that's the one thing. Like, we're friends with everybody, you know, and like
yeah, no, for sure.
I don't want to pick anymore.
Yeah, no.
I just go down the range and say, hey, you're my favorite to win. I hope you win. You know, like
Yeah.
whatever, just go down. So, you know,
Yeah, he's
one
like
out
that.
of 64 are going to be happy.
Yeah. That is awesome.
But Jeff Schmuck, Zach Holton, Timothy Gregg, Jim Waldron. I mean, Holton has been so consistent. Consistent.
That's going to be a big one.
215, and it's funny. That's a slight mishit for him. You know, by like 2 miles, 2, 3, 4, 5 mile per hour. But it is right down the middle, no movement. Holton going to put up a big number here.
Mike just gave a big hello
Oh,
Yeah.
to you, Josh, as well as Bobby, and he said he will see us in Denver, which is always great to hear.
Oh, yeah.
good
Can't
to
wait
see
for
you,
that.
Mike. Good to see you guys.
And we have another question here from the YouTube chat. What type of weightlifting do you do for long drive?
I mainly do a lot of mobility. I've done a lot of weightlifting in the past for like, football and everything. So I mainly just try to like focus on mobility, try to focus on core. I'll do like box squats and do deadlifts and stuff like every now and then, but I mainly just try to make sure that I'm like mobile. That way I can at least, give myself some time to create some speed up top and not get too, stiff on everything. So
Space creates speed, and so
Of
you have to have
course,
mobility
yeah.
in order to do that.
exactly. So yeah, mobility. I definitely do a whole bunch of yoga. Also, my fiance,
namaste.
she's a 600 or 700 registered yoga instructor. So yeah, like we do a bunch of just making sure the mobility's right, nice and smooth, try to connect, and then yeah, just go from there.
Congratulations,
No, I appreciate it.
fiance. When's the wedding day?
We're gonna do it this year at some point.
Is it going to
so,
be right
yeah.
here on the grid?
On the grid? Nah, we're not gonna. It might be too windy. I was gonna say.
We got the Dobbin brothers in the house, Mitch and Mike. They said the one guy's that if you get in a fight, I want to be on their team. Like, Mitch
Without
and
a
Mike
doubt.
Dobbin, yeah, I'm on their team.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt.
Oh, man.
Yeah, Holton just sent another one down the pipe there.
Yeah, Jeff Schmuck at 4'11". Schmuck's the guy that's just going to just hit so many balls in play and just put.
Oh,
We got a huge gust of wind. I got a
Big
feeling
one.
like I'm just waiting to see these tents just fly everywhere.
that might
Wow.
be 430 right there.
Yeah,
From
so
Zach.
We will
You can-
have this number when we get back. Josh, thanks so much for sitting in with us. Excited to see you continue the rest of this year out and make sure, you have
Yeah.
find that perfect club.
Oh no, we're gonna find it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah,
excited.
thanks so
No,
much
thank you
for
all for
joining
having
us.
me on. Yeah, always a pleasure,
Yes,
Bobby.
sir.
Yeah,
All right,
always
see you
a
at the
pleasure,
next
Alexis.
event.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. Josh Jackson in the house. Want to thank him for his time.
The best long hitters in the world have come for a chance to call themselves a world champion. It's all about power. It's all about accuracy. It's all about guts. Everyone chased the championship belts. World championship.
Zach Holton, ties Marcotte Stoll for the longest drive of the day at 4:34. Holton with 2 wins, Costello with a first and a second. Jim Waldron at 300 points as well. It's early.
Very
saw,
early.
Saw 400 go into a playoff, and Jeremy Nowak got into the round of 32 at 450. We always say 450 is kind of the number if you're tuning in for the first time ever. 16 hitters, 8 guys are going to advance. The point structure goes as follows. First place gets 200 points. Second place gets 100. Third place gets 50. Fourth place gets 25. And if you go B, you get 0. We haven't had anybody sweep it yet today, which has happened a couple times already this year. Martin ended up sweeping. Colton's done it. Trying to think who else has got all 1,000 points, but that's tough to do when these guys are starting to average, like 212, 215 ball speed. Yes, your fastest guys on the planet, like Berkshire, he just went 227. Martin's going to be in the mid to high, 220s. I feel like a 230 has been hit so far this year, like once or twice, but last year, a couple guys went 230 with this golf ball at the World Championships.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think we'll see more of that coming up.
We just had a very, very big gust of wind at the end of last set, but it has died down
just
significantly. I mean, like significantly probably being 5 miles per hour, if not a little bit more than that. I had the sign hitting me in the head. So I know when it was windy, really windy, this sign's hitting me.
The sign's hitting. We had some TVs fall over.
Yeah.
As Bobby said, no announcer was hit or harmed.
Yeah, Brandon Flynn going 214 earlier today. That's something that I'm going to focus on. Brandon said he was a little under the weather in Hobestown as well. He's tired. That humidity is going to get to you. If you're not drinking a ton of fluids, Brandon has been susceptible to getting cramps, over tournaments. So, it's a marathon for him too. He's got to stay hydrated. But it was nice to see that he was hitting 214 earlier on. Brandon's won multiple tournaments under the PLDA organization.
And just took this at 418. Brandon served our country for many years. Thank you for his service. Thank him for
Air
service.
Force. Andrew Eigner finally got a ball on the board there. 395. We talked about it a couple times already today. Kyle Berkshire hitting first. Start off the tournament, he's going to have about a 25-minute wait before set 2.
Yeah.
He did get one ball in play, which helps. He ended up taking 200 points. Interested to see the change that he made over the last 25 minutes. The one thing I did see with Kyle Berkshire, he took the approach of going after it first set.
And with both clubs.
Yeah.
He used it pretty equally.
Yep. So. And that might be something that he wants to really focus on right now. He knows he only has 30 balls to hit today. He's healthy, and he's probably just going to swing, get after it because, when you get down to the final 8, he's gonna have to swing that hard anyways. You might as well see what the equipment's all about. And Kyle's the type of kid that's going to hit 250, 300 balls in a practice session, and for him, he actually gets stronger as the sessions go on as well. Great stamina, and he practices for it. A lot of these guys do. They all go out to Bobby Peterson's out in Newton Grove, North Carolina, and these guys work really, really hard and to prepare for these types of tournaments. And this is a marathon. This isn't a 3-day event. This is a 2-day event. But the first this first day, 30 swings. It puts a little bit of a toll on the body, but not much.
Right.
Not much. Like you said, Justin James talked about him being a little tired. A lot of it had to do with the time change and probably waking up super early today. But Berkshire are still working on a number here. We have Victor Vorjet, Bowden Lafko, and Cameron Weckerly.
And we saw a lot of balls in play earlier today. I think that has a lot to do with the wind.
Yep.
Now as the wind is picking up a good bit, you just got to catch it the right way. The club, you have to be a little bit more efficient with every swing that you hit.
Yep.
And that's what we're seeing the guys working with right now.
All right. If I'm Kyle, I'm taking a nice deep breath and just going back. Let's just be 150 at like 220. Nice smooth swing.
If I'm Kyle, I'm hitting a dinker, which for him is probably still 400 yards.
Yeah, just maybe even mix it up. He's missed left. Maybe just try to hit a cut here, And then you said he's doing a little bit of a pull, just coming over the top of it a little bit, shutting that face down.
And I don't think you guys can see. The wind's picking up just a little bit here, which you can also see the ball kind of moving just a hair. We saw Kyle back off of that last swing just because of a little movement in that ball as it's being teed up.
I was curious to see the adjustment that he's going to make here. So still trying to find it a little bit. He's won first 10.
Bowden lap cut.
It looks like he's actually setting up left to hit a cut here. And there he goes.
Yep.
Now, the thing is this one going to stay in play? Because this one is 223. This one's a bomb. This one is an absolute bomb from Kyle. 223.6, 2,300 spin, 212 apex. Not much movement left to right, about 14 yards. This is going to be a big drive here. Kyle looks like he needs to hurry up to get this last ball in play.
And he does it, and it looks like that one might be in play as well.
And that's one that he didn't have to worry about or think about. That was a little bit of a miss hit, but I think ball number 5 for Kyle is going to be, bare minimum 425, if not like 440. This could be the longest ball of the day. He went down the right side, which is the hottest part of this grid, with a little bit of a cut, too. This is ideal as it could possibly be for him.
As we wait for these final numbers, we will give you an update right after this.
Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
Berkshire making an adjustment there. It opens up his feet just a little bit on ball 5 and 6, goes 444. He just hit a block. He made an adjustment, and he ended up hitting the 2 longest balls of the day at 438 and 448. So Kyle making an adjustment. He went 1 for 10, and now he's 3 for 12. And, that's the adjustment that he needed to make because he literally was just shutting that face at impact and just hooking him out left. So the two-time world champ making an adjustment and hitting the 2 longest balls of the day, and it was perfect. Like you said, he just hit a block, no movement, little movement, and hit it down the right side of the grid.
Yeah, which shows how intentional he is with every single shot that he's hitting out there.
Yeah. Yeah, he said these guys are swinging so hard that, if your face is closed just a tad, these miss hits look drastic, and especially when they're hitting them 400-plus yards. So slight adjustment from the 2-time world champion. He's back in business with 2 wins. Zach Holton in slot number 3, just putting on a clinic right now. 217 ball right down the middle. Glenn Wilson Jr. putting a ball out and play. Victor Bourget, 390. Bryce Mooney still working on a number. One thing you think about guys that qualified at regionals, they did hit a lot of balls yesterday between locals. Don't know how many times he hit in the local, and then going into regionals. And if you lose round 1 or 2, you're going to hit 6, 7 sets pretty quickly. So, don't know if, stamina is going to affect him today. Bryce Mooney in slot number 2, but Zach Holton with a 430-yard rocket right down the middle.
To be expected.
Yeah. I've been really, really impressed with Zach Holton. Just the last 3 years, but even at the World Championships last year, only a couple swings away from giving himself an opportunity to compete for the World Championship, like the title, the finals. He ended up taking a T3, and he's been knocking on the doorstep already this year as well.
Yeah.
As we would say, Zach Holton on cruise control. Looks like he's more than likely going to take down this set just based off of pure ball speed alone, putting up a good number at 430 yards. The wind just did die down a little bit, and the wind shifted. It's going to be a little left or right, so these numbers are going to drastically decline here. So 430 right now is It's
Pretty
probably
big
like a
number.
410 ball,
Yeah.
you know, right now. So, and the wind changes quickly in Mesquite. It's been consistent, though, as far as it's been a southwest wind, maybe a little west.
Yeah, the wind's definitely been consistent. If you're joining us here on the stream, we are looking at all the flight scopes numbers that are not only just giving us the distance, but also giving us the ball speed, the club head speed, how far the ball is moving, and that really helps us to figure out how far these guys are hitting it. It's giving us such great, accurate data, something that you can purchase if you're interested in competing and want to know what your numbers are. And I think that's one of the coolest things about this stream is that viewers can see all the numbers at home.
Still waiting on a number. Glenn Wilson and Zach Holden aren't underlined as of yet. Glenn Wilson is in third place, confirmed. So Glenn will have 250 points with still 2 more sets to go. That was the first group of round 3. Once again, 3 guys, Josh Jackson being included, went up against Landon Gentry, and they had a playoff. They had 3 guys hitting for 2 spots, and then Jeremy Nowak got in with 450 points. But it was Lucas Weichel who ended up getting in. I feel like the ball speed numbers are up a little bit from Hope Sound. And I feel a lot of it has to do with conditions as well.
I was going to say, we also don't have as much humidity.
And they got a little push from being downwind.
We're getting another big gust of wind right here. The guys take advantage of these swings.
Let's key in on Mr. Flynn here. Flynn's in slot 3.
Brandon always seems to try and just get one in the grid, and then from there, hit the gas pedal a little bit.
You'll really not see that much movement in his golf ball. Granted, if you looked at his last drive, you would say I was a liar, but little thin here. Little thin here from Brandon. It's a big set for him because he's at 300 points. A win would put him at 500 after 3 sets.
I don't know. It looks like he had a good one down the line. Might be somewhere around 415. There it is.
423.
423.
And I said Hunter is center punching these things, and you're looking at his ball speeds at like 202, 203. Downwind, those are good, especially if his spin rates are good. He hit that 218 feet in the air. Looked like it, flight scope saying it would carry 392, and they were like almost on the money in Hope Sound. So tip of the cap to Flight Scope. As we always say on these broadcasts, you buy your first 100 Flight Scopes, you get the next one for 1% off.
1% off.
With the code World Long Drive.
If you use the code World Long Drive Alexis, you get 1.5% off.
All right, Brandon Flynn trying to find a number here.
I wonder what Brandon's target is. He's starting every single shot off right down the middle. I wonder if he adjusts this one to go a little bit closer towards that left side and let it fade.
This one's good. Brandon Flynn, 207, mid-ball cut, 196 in the air,
That's gonna be a good
1957
one.
spin. A little bit of movement, about 25 yards left to right, but this is a 60-yard wide grid, and he started this down the left side. This one should be in play from Brandon Flynn. 407, so he takes second place.
And then he put the gas on that one.
And this really just comes down to height. Hunter Knowles, 202, 203 right now, and he hit it 190 feet in the air, or 200 feet in the air. So I think it really just comes down to height here. Brandon Flynn on his last ball is 167. Based on not much movement, Brandon Flynn's last ball was the best ball of the set. But you know what? Did he hit it high enough? That's the question. So it's trying to tell a story right now, this golf ball is, based on the wind conditions and where you hit it on this grid. It always seems like that right side of the grid, you're going to get some bigger numbers. So, but yeah, Brandon Flynn waiting on the last ball. But right now, Hunter Noel is in the lead at 423.
Looking to compete on the World Long Drive Tour for the largest prize purses in World Long Drive history? Pro and amateur members can compete in their respective divisions all summer long as World Long Drive kicks off their 2023 tour. Visit worldlongdrive.com to become a member and view all the registration dates for upcoming tour events.
And we are back. Brandon Flynn's number came in there at 407, which means he took second place.
Yeah, Hunter Knoll ended up taking down that set. So he's at 300 points, starting to get a little bit of a log jam. Yeah, 300 to 250, a little bit of a log jam. Just going to the comment section. Tom Salone, been in the sport for a really long time. Hello, Dan Lambert.
I like this question.
Yeah.
Who's the next tour player you could see competing in WLD?
I mean, I always say Tony Finau. I mean, I believe that he's competed before. Ben Tuone, his cousin, finished runner-up at the World Championships. And Ben's a great hitter. I know he hasn't hit in the last couple of years, but we had one event out in California in 2020, the Endless Summer Invitational, and Ben ended up winning that one. Yeah, I would say that. I mean, Bryson's lethal with this golf ball. He had so many balls in play, and he's right around like 215 ball speed. I mean, even at 212, like there's a reason why he made the final 8 at the World Championships in 2021, and then going up against Martin in the finals last year.
I think it would be fun to see like a Rory. Just curious to see what he would do.
I just don't know if he can generate enough speed.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think who else. I mean,
I'm always a fan of
Brandon Matthews. Like,
yeah.
he's really fast. I think Brandon Matthews. I would pick him. I think he could probably produce 215 ball speed. If not, maybe more than. He's tall and he's really fast.
Yeah.
I would say him.
I'm gonna go with the hometown guy for me that I grew up playing with, which is Sam Burns.
Yeah.
When he puts the gas on it, he can hit it pretty far. I would love to see what the comment section thinks of who they would like to see the next tour player be out here on WLD.
I would say, yeah, Brandon Matthews. And I hope I'm not messing up his last name, or if it's Matthew or Matthews, but I've watched him hit balls. He's a Palm Beach County guy. He can get after it.
All right. Kyle Berkshire with a number of 464.
Yeah, and once again, the winds picked up, and Kyle
taking advantage of it.
Yeah, he's made an adjustment. I mean, really, truly, that's what the sport's all about, is making adjustments. Him being a 2-time world champ, he's going to do it. I mean, he's hit literally 4 straight balls dead left. It's just shutting that face at impact just a little bit. And he's not off by a lot, but you saw him open up his feet just a tad and just trying to hit that block. And there you go, 464 yards. They did say, there's Kyle. All right, man. He finally got a smile out of him. But, yeah, Kyle
long
looking
hair,
good.
don't care.
Yeah, no, we finally got a smile out of him. But we talked about the end of the grid goes 476 yards.
He's sticking on it.
I think that the grid is hot it sounds crazy, at 430. If these guys can carry it 420, 430, there's rollout. I mean, Eddie Fernandez yesterday, 452 yards, and Bobby Peterson being out in the grid said it landed at like 395, 400 and rolled almost 50 yards. So
that's insane.
The farther you carry this thing, I feel like this ground's hot. So, did Kyle hit it 364 or 464? I'm confused.
We'll wait for the line to see what this number is.
Well, it's not like it's a surprise if he does go 464. Right. I mean, it's Mesquite. Yeah.
And it's blowing 25, 30, especially at that moment.
Either way, if it went 364 or 464, the smile that Kyle gave us
was worth
priceless.
All of it. Yeah. Hashtag priceless.
I don't know what music this is, but it is jamming in our ears right now. Can you play the guitar?
I actually can.
Yeah?
It's a little hidden talent of mine.
All right.
409.
Okay.
So 364.
Whatever. They were only 100 yards off.
It's okay. He still is leading the day at 448. So.
We just want to give a tip of the cap to the production crew as well. We have Elon Musk giving us the
He's got the brain of Elon Musk for sure.
For sure. All right, the music is off. Those that can't listen or can't hear, I feel like I was just at a rock concert.
We have a question about any other events in Europe. There are definitely some sanctioned events.
Yeah.
Martin just helping to put one on in Germany.
For sure. That one's going to be a really good one, too. May 20th and 21st. Marty Borghi 240 hosting the Long Drive boys.
Germinator.
The Germinator.
We will see him later today.
Yeah, Martin on this grid with this ball. Josh Jackson, he said it first. He picks Martin to take it down.
That's Costello putting one in the grid on the first shot, which is always the best thing that you can do.
Andrew Eiger with an absolute bomb of 4 yards. It says 4 on our screen as of right now. Andrew, you have hit the shortest drive in the history of the sport. That is confirmed at 4 yards.
There's a prize for that at the end of the year ball. The end of the year.
It stayed in play. Bowden Lafko 389, Mark Costello 406. We are fighting a little bit of a crosswind, but now the wind just shifted more downwind. I mean, I really like this grid for Costello. I know it mentioned multiple times, but if he can just shut that face just a smidgen and hit his little pull cut, he is going to be very tough on this grid. Costello safely in the lead at 409, but Waldron in slot number 1, one swing away from going 420, 430 as well. Waldron's longest ball so far is 429 yards in this set.
This might be a good one for Andrew if that one stayed in. He's kind of at an advantage in this slot, being left-handed. He can aim right out there on the left side and just let it drop back in towards the right, or let the wind just carry it.
He's off a little bit, Andrew, and you can tell because he's a guy that I would never worry about him hitting balls in play, and I think a lot of it just has to do with just like pure ball speed. He knows he's going up against guys that are, 215, 220, 225, and he might be just doing a little bit too much, and sometimes less is more. And, for me, I'd like to just see him hit 4 out of 5 in play because he's fully capable of doing that. So Andrew just pressing just a little bit right now, but he will be in the amateur division. Later on in the day at 4:30 Pacific Standard Time, he ended up winning the amateur division last month in Hope Sound. Mark Costello at 425 yards. Looks like he'll take down that set. Still waiting on a number from Jem Waldron.
As we wait on that number, we're going to go to promo here, but we've got an exciting guest coming up right after this.
Introducing the new Bridgestone E9 Long Drive. Co-designed by World Long Drive athletes to push the limits of distance. Thanks to extreme ball speed and superior aerodynamic flight. Engineered for you to hit your longest drive. Drive the new E9 Long Drive. Extreme distance for your game.
And we're back.
Matt Nicole.
What's up?
After trying to jump off the Eiffel Tower and breaking your elbow before the World Championships.
I know, yeah, bad decision.
It's a good start to the year, man. I mean, you looked great in Utah.
Yep.
Hitting a lot of balls in play, but for guys that haven't, don't know this fine gentleman from the UK, an assassin with the driver, ball striker, puts a lot of balls in play, has a great swing. And today, what I was really impressed with was the ball speed. You hit 212 today.
Yep.
How you feeling?
Yeah, I'm happy about that. Honestly, I've been working pretty hard in the off season since I had that injury at the end of last year. Been trying to come back stronger, and been doing a lot of work. Just on my mobility and just trying to rehab my elbow pretty well. But yeah, coming back, I'm seeing some good speed, so it feels good. Feels good to be back, honestly. I was just trying to enjoy it out there.
When was your first year in long drive?
2016.
Yeah, and like I said, you just mopped up,
Yep.
you know, out in Europe.
Yep.
And remember the first time we matched up was the Long Drive World Series in London at Brockett Hall.
Yeah.
And they gave, what was it, they gave the bonus ball or whatever it was, and I hammered it.
Yep.
I hammered it, and then you got me. You hit it out of the grid. It was like 440 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was fun though. That was a
fun.
cool grid.
Yeah.
That was, you know.
How'd you get into long drive?
Just through, I'm a professional golfer by trade, so.
We can definitely see that in the swing.
Thank you. Yeah, just always hit it a long way, and kind of, I think my first event was in Fairmont, Scotland, with Joe Miller back in 2016 when it was Long Drive European Tour. Just turned up with a playing driver, came third, and just got the bug since then, really. Yeah.
You have a profile very similar, like as far as body structure, to Jamie Sedlowski. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, how tall are you? What's your weight?
6'1", 195. So.
He's bigger than Jamie.
Yeah.
You know, we were joking
was-
around. We always said Jamie was like 4'9", you
He's
know,
5'2".
114. Yeah, he's only 114 pounds, but yeah, 6'1", 195. Yeah, you, Galladay, and then we're looking at someone like Brandon Flynn that's going to just put, you know, just going to put so many balls in play.
Yeah.
You guys have that golf swing. How do you generate all the power having such an efficient swing?
A lot of it, I mean, it's down to the equipment. You know, brands like Callaway and Patterson providing the best shafts and the best heads in the industry. Just getting properly acclimated to my club head speed data. So what I'm doing with my attack angle, what I'm doing with my club path. And then just really trying to do speed training where I'm almost hitting into a net and not seeing much ball flight, so I can kind of take away that thought that I've always got about seeing the ball flight and take that away a little bit. And sometimes I see bigger spikes in my ball speed from that.
That's such a good tip when
Yeah.
people are looking how to get faster.
Yeah.
You got to stop looking at the numbers.
Totally,
You
yeah.
just got to hit as fast as
Yep.
you can into a net. So I think
Yeah,
that's
you just
something
sort of have to
the audience
condition your
can-
body to, especially playing professional golf, and you know we're all kind of conditioned to hit fairways and hit greens, and we've got to hit a grid out here, but you've also got to do it at maximum speed. So when you can switch that kind of governor off a little bit and turn that off and then dial it in when you need to, that's kind of how I've been training for the last few months.
Awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
people talk about like body structures. Like, I mean, even Kyle's
Yep.
like 6'2", 195. So people that are tuning in for the first time, like I've watched Landon Calling be like literally 5'7", 145 pounds, 150 pounds, up to someone like Mike Dobbin that I've called World Championships in the booth with.
Yeah,
Any size, shape,
Yeah.
whatever can win out here.
totally.
You know, and but for me, like what I've always been impressed with is just your ability to hit the center of the club face,
Yep.
which I feel like when people get into the sport, that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
What are things that you focus on just to make sure that you're not hitting the center of the club face?
I'm always looking at, you know, I video myself a lot. I'm big into analyzing my students, so I measure things on TrackMan. I use a lot of 3D. Just trying to get my sequencing down all the time, really, just so my timing's good, using the ground effectively. Yeah, just kind of leveraging my mobility. I know I'm not one of the biggest guys out here, but I can certainly put on a good show with the kind of flexibility, the mobility that I have, and using the ground efficiently.
Well, you definitely did that today,
Thank you.
without a doubt.
Yeah, like Colton Castro, you and him, you have like a little bit of like a little stride.
Yeah.
You know, why did you incorporate that little stride in your transition?
I think a lot of sort of research over the last 5 years or so really has gone into kind of the momentum that we should all be having before we hit the golf ball. And you see it out here from all these guys like Zach on the tee now. He has the step. Kyle has a rock. Martin's got some, you know, hip shift going on. So there's always some body movement to create some momentum before you move off the golf ball. And I think for anyone trying to hit it a little bit further, experimenting with stuff like that, like a trigger move, like a counter trigger before you take the club away, really, really important. And everyone's got their own little unique trigger, but it's something that pretty much all of us have got.
Yeah, because I've seen you incorporate it. Greg Null's got a
Yeah.
little bit of it. Colton Castro has a more defined, you know,
Yep.
kind of stride.
Yep.
But just to watch the efficiency in your swing. I mean, Zach Holton, once you see his feet plant, like his swing is just, it's money. This
Yeah.
guy's such a stud.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, like you say, for me, I guess you'd say being in the sport for 17 years, like I enjoy watching the ball strikers, guys like Dave Mobley, just putting on a stripe
sure.
show. And, you know, for you, like today you're putting on a stripe show, you and Galladay at 208, 209, 210, 212.
Yeah.
Those guys are going to be there late in this tournament, and especially with this grid. Like, I mean, this grid definitely helps guys that might not be on that top spectrum of ball speed being 225 or 230, but, you know, I wouldn't be surprised seeing you in a Final 8, and we always say it all the time. You're in Final 8. You got a chance to win this.
For sure.
You know how to win, too. How many wins did you get on the LDET?
Won 6 times out there. Took the tour home in 2017. Continued a little bit in 2018, and then kind of came out here and put on some shows at the Oklahoma Grid back in Windstar when we had it. Had it out there. But yeah, it's a good run out in Europe, and you know, props to them guys for putting on the tour out there, because it really got a load of people involved in the sport. And hopefully in the next few years, now we've got World Long Drive back and running, we can see a few more international faces out here.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of having some sanctioned events already being brought up there. A question for you is, you've had such an interesting career overseas, coming over here, breaking an arm.
Yeah.
What would the title of your book be, and what would be the name of the chapter that you're in now?
For me, it's competing in the World Championships. You know, I'm always trying to peak for that event, especially this year as well, being based in San Diego, having an event in Oceanside. That's kind of been like my hometown event in a sense.
San Diego's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I love it out there. I got married in January, so
congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, that's my home now. So I'm looking forward to pushing on in that event and putting on a show in the World Championships. But you know, it's just competing in the later stage of these events. I know I've got the game to do it. It's just when I get up against some of these big guys, it's knowing that I can still step it with them and put on a show when I need to.
Without a doubt.
And the one thing is, him being a veteran, like, he's not going to do something that he knows that he can't do. He's not going to sit there and try to step on the gas. He's going to hit his ball and see how it plays
yourself.
out. Yeah. You know, and guys like him are going to put, 4 or 5 and even potentially 6 balls out of 6 in play, and that's going to give you the most opportunity to put up bigger numbers.
Yeah, for sure.
So. But yeah, Matt Nicole in the booth right now, 2017 LDET Player of the Year, 6-time winner on out there as well. But yeah, it's fun traveling the world with you. I mean, we've been everywhere.
Yeah.
2018 was a lot of fun.
Yep.
What's your favorite place to hit?
I did a lot of events in Spain and Portugal. Honestly, they were like really good climate to hit golf balls in. Traveled all over. We did like Slovenia. Went to Russia once for a Long Drive European Tour event. But yeah, I mean, this grid is phenomenal. This is kind of, we all love coming here. It's optimal conditions for everyone to hit in. It's fair. It's flat. Yeah, there's always hot spots on the grid, and it's kind of trying to find that out here. But yeah, this is the best place to hit for sure.
We've been seeing bursts of wind gusts, and you had a lot of that in your set as well. How do you adjust for that?
Just warming up. You know, we're all kind of using the flag up on the mesa up there as our guide, so it's been kind of pumping a little bit down off the left all day. Yeah, it swelled a little bit around 11 o'clock this morning. But yeah, I was trying to figure out whether a kind of high fade was the flight, starting it out the center and just kind of peeling it off to the right. Pulled a few doing that. I know when I do that, I'm just closing the club face to the path a little bit, so I sort of open my stance up and just almost jump out of the way a little bit to keep that club face open to path, and then hit a few good ones down the right. But yeah, it's tricky when it's swirling. We had gusts even coming into a little bit at some points. You can feel it now that it's really, we're getting some big heavy gusts out here now.
All right,
that
so you said you're a newly married man. How has your wife helped you?
She's helped save a television.
She's helping right now,
making
sure that all the electronics stay working. How has she helped you over this new season?
She's just been a fantastic support, honestly. I mean, you know, she's here with me today. She's here all my events, and you know, from the career, professional, personal, everything. She's my support system for sure.
Number one cheerleader.
Yeah, 100%.
So right now, we did get a gust of wind. That TV's definitely falling. There's no doubt.
It's good to see Tim Gregg out here as well. Did a little bit of coaching out in San Diego with Tim Gregg, and he came through the locals yesterday to get a spot today. So it's good to see him hitting.
Absolutely.
Awesome. What did you guys work on?
He just came and saw me out at the Heights Golf Club where I'm based at in San Diego. We just did a few speed sessions, got him a couple of drivers sorted out. Just trying to give him some idea about how to maximize his build, honestly, because he's a big, strong guy. So just trying to use the ground a bit more efficiently, take him away from some of his golf swing tendencies and get him more into the long drive patterns.
All right, if you had a walkout song What would your walkout song be?
It would be an Oasis song for sure. I'm a big Oasis fan. Probably Champagne Supernova.
Can you sing us a little bit?
I don't know about that.
All right. If you win and you're holding that trophy, I'm expecting that.
Okay. Well, if I win, I'll sing.
Okay.
I feel like this TV in front of us and the laptop has like 9 lives. Like I don't know how much longer this thing's going to last.
It's flying.
That thing is just taking a pounding. This is crazy. Mark Costello just hit a ball that took up, 70, 80 yards of movement. He aimed dead out, all the way out left and just hit the biggest sweeping cut ever.
Right at the flag that
Turbo
Matt
slice.
was describing earlier. We have Jason Zubak asking you a question, Matt. Coming from a golf background, what has been the biggest influence on Mac's speed development?
For sure, equipment. Like Jason, obviously being heavily involved with TPI. A lot of the work he's done with Justin James has really helped me out. Understanding the golf swing pretty well, like I do, just trying to transfer some of that into long drive. Ball striking being, key priority. And then just everything that we do as long drivers is extremes. We hit up on the ball more, we use lower lofts. So it's just really trying to understand how we use that equipment effectively, and like Bobby said before, knowing what my boundaries are and kind of staying within that, so I can just hit a lot of good balls in play. And it does always just come back down to hitting the ball out the middle of the face, honestly.
Yeah, I come from a golf background as well. When I got into the sport, I think the biggest thing that helped me was width. Do you kind of focus on getting a little bit more width in that backswing? Yeah,
for sure. I mean, when you're playing golf, you don't necessarily need that kind of radius, the sort of width of the radius in the backswing. And when you're playing long drive, we want to try and keep that swing arc as wide as possible, so we can generate big attack angles, big positive attack angles. Yeah, width has really helped. The kind of momentum shift, the kind of rocking has really helped me, honestly. Just helps me load into my trail side a little bit better. When you play golf, you don't necessarily need this amount of movement off the ball. We're trying to hit fairways. So, just the kind of dynamic tendencies that we have to use our feet effectively has been the biggest thing.
And what advice would you give someone that has been a golfer, probably hits it far or thinks that they can hit it a little bit further? What advice would you give them to kind of transition into that long drive space?
For sure, just come out here, honestly. Just get involved. I mean, that's how I started. I was brought along my playing driver with me at the time. A lot of this long drive equipment wasn't really out there, so it was difficult to get your hands on stuff. So I just turned up, gave it a go. Everyone out here is so supportive, and the tour's been fantastic with getting new faces and developing. So I'd just say get out here, get yourself in a local qualifier, get yourself in an amateur event, meet some guys. You're going to get addicted really quickly, like we all are.
Very fast.
Yeah, for sure. So just come out here and give it a try.
One thing you talked about, like you made an adjustment with your feet. Kyle did the same thing. We're watching Kyle Berkshire in slot number 4 right now. He made an adjustment with his feet to hit a little bit of a block, and he ended up going 448. So, I mean, it's just like things like that, being a veteran of the sport, to be able to make those changes.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, you really need to know the conditions, and you need to be aware of what's going on around you. It's quite hard when you're in the heat of the moment, but to sort of think externally sometimes is really, really important, because you need to be aware of the wind and the conditions and what's going on the grid.
So Kyle here in slot number 4. I can say it. He hates the slot. He might not say it, but I know he doesn't like it.
It was a tricky slot today.
It is. It really is. It's
especially with that
that left to right.
Yeah.
All these guys are looking to put one in the grid.
Yeah.
It looks like Hunter Noel like that one.
Yeah,
it's really high.
Good ball flight for this grid, really high.
186 in the air, 202.7 ball speed, nice spin rates. And the wind's, it's downwind right now. I mean, this is should be a decent ball.
Is there anyone that you look forward to going into head-to-heads with? Martin.
We've got some rivalry from back in the day. He won the Maurice Allen won the tour, the European tour, before I did. I won it in 2017. Martin won it in 2018. We haven't really had any head-to-head since then. So yeah, I mean, it's just some old rivalries in there, and be good.
I'm looking forward to that.
Be good for that, for sure.
Well, thank you so much for.
Thanks for having me.
Being in here with Booth.
Matt Nicole looking good.
Thank you.
Good job today.
Looking forward to Martin and you head-to-head later
let's see that
for
happen.
tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Introducing World Long Drive International memberships. World Long Drive welcomes all of their international affiliates as part of the World Long Drive family. With an international membership, our worldwide competitors now have the ability to compete in internationally sanctioned World Long Drive events, the ability to earn world ranking points, plus all of the great community membership benefits. Sign up for an international membership today at worldlongdrive.com. All pro memberships include the ability to compete in international World Long Drive sanctioned events. Learn more at worldlongdrive.com.
Zach Holton, Mark Costello, Kyle Berkshire, Brandon Flynn are in. We are in set number 5. 16 hitters, 8 guys advance. Zach Holton, Mark Costello at 700 points. Kyle Berkshire and Brandon Flynn at 600. Hunter Knoll, 500 points. Jim Waldron, 450. The guys in and around the bubble. Glenn Wilson's in currently at 350. Jeff Schmuck at 300 and Andrew Eigner at 300 as well. And Victor Bourget, Mr. Bourget at 250. Several guys have a chance to get in here. Crazy enough, there's only one guy that currently is eliminated from this, and it's Carter Adams as of right now. But everybody still has an outside chance, even at 150 points, which is crazy. But we've seen guys go B. We've seen 375 get in. But Zach Holton putting on a clinic today. As far as this ball is 434 yards. Costello at 434. Berkshire, 448. The wind has died down here significantly in the last couple minutes, and it's now more of a left to right. But once again, Zach Holton putting on a clinic, and Costello figured it out. Struggled a little bit in Hobe Sound. It was uncharacteristic of him, not getting into the round of 32 just because of how talented he is. But when I say he didn't have that bad of a tournament, he didn't have that bad of a tournament. Costello was just missing by, just a little bit in Hobe Sound. He was just off by a little bit. And today he's made that adjustment. I think a lot of times when Costello struggles, his just face is open at impact just a little bit, which causes him to take up a little bit too much room left to right, or he shuts the club face down a little bit too much at impact. And today, he's figured it out. I just watched him hit a ball 70 yards left to right and went 422. So he's got plenty of speed, and that's a guy that you literally, if you watch him on Flight Scope, Costello's like 220, 221, 220, 219, 221.
Every single time. Such consistency.
Yep. So we're seeing numbers down right now. 375, Tim Gregg at 375, Bowden Lafko at 366, Joe Foley at 364. Let's see how this helps. Timothy Gregg's going to have 365 or 375 points, it looks like. And I think with Bryce Mooney, it really just came down to stamina. A lot of swings for him, probably a little sore. And going up against guys that, obviously are the fastest guys in the world.
He's a little bit more into that.
Probably pressing a little bit and tired.
I think it was great what Matt said is he just stays within himself. And I think that's something that you learn over time is you got to just go with whatever game you have.
Yeah, it's experience. You look at like Landon Gentry in the playoff.
Great example.
He went 203, 203, 203, 203. Like his ball speed was the same. He changed his ball height a little bit. And, we figured he would hit 3, 4, 5 balls in play, and he did, and ended up getting into the round of 32. So Timothy Gregg is now going to be on the bubble at 375. Well, Glenn Wilson technically is on the bubble at 350, so Glenn's got to put a ball in play. He's going up against Cameron Weckley, Carter Adams, and Jim Waldron.
Who is in for sure right now? We have
Zach Holton, Mark Costello, Kyle Berkshire, and Brandon Flynn is in. So Hunter Knoll hits a ball in play, he's in.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the tee now, Cameron Weckley, Carter Adams, Jim Waldron, Glenn Wilson Jr. Gentlemen, the grid is clear. Fire away.
That Hunter Knoll looking good at 500 points. Jim Waldron needs to put a couple balls in play as well. If Jim takes a second place or better, he is 100% in. Glenn Wilson Jr. wins this set. He would have 550 points, which would put him in. It'll get a little interesting if Glenn takes second and Jim wins this. Glenn would have 450 points, which we saw 400 got in, and so did 450.
Yeah.
400 went to a playoff, but
We've also seen 500 not get in.
Zach Holt
So
and Brian Gregnall.
Anything can happen.
But the guys that you expect, with Zach Holt and Costello, Berkshire, and Flynn, they're already in and haven't even hit their 5th set. Glenn Wilson with a number on the board, which is huge. So worst case scenario, Carter Adams is not hitting in this set. Worst case scenario is that Glenn would have 50 points if he came in 3rd, which would put him at 400. So big set for Waldron. Waldron, like I said, could take a 2nd or 1st, and he's in.
And even though Carter will not make it in, he's from Fort Worth, and as we talk about, a lot of the guys out here are some sort of athlete, whether that be baseball or basketball. He's a track athlete. Sprinted in college, and he's now out here trying to swing as fast as he can, just as much as he can move his feet fast.
Yep. Big gust of wind here. Don't know if this, like I said, the fact that this laptop over here that you
I
guys
really wish
can't
you guys
see,
could see this.
I mean, this TV, it's got more than 9 lives now. We have a humongous gust of wind.
The TV that the guys are looking at to see their numbers is just blowing everywhere. It's actually attached by a string at this point to make sure that it stays up.
The veteran Glenn Wilson just putting 4 out of 4 in play. Look at this guy at 405. Glenn's awesome in the booth, by the way. He's great.
Got to get him in.
He's a good questions guy. He asks really good questions. He's got a good delivery. He's got a good cadence in his voice. Glenn Wilson, the pride of Houston. The Whopper.
And he's always got a great smile. That's my favorite part.
Yep. I mean, and we said it earlier, he was the fastest guy on the planet. 2016, he was at 225 ball speed. Glenn could move it. It looks like Glenn and Jim are going to get in. Jim Waldron will have 400 or 550 points, and so will Glenn Wilson. So 550's in. So Andrew Eigner might sneak in here with 2 OB sets. Jeff Schmuck as well.
This might be the event where Andrew is no longer an amateur. Up next, we have Andrew Eigner. Our Hope Sound Amateur Division Champion, Victor Bourget, Hunter Noel, and Jeff Schmuck. Hunter is already in. He has to just get a ball in play. As we mentioned earlier, Andrew can sneak in. Along with Jeff.
All right, so 6 guys are 100% in. Zach Holton, Mark Costello, Kyle Berkshire, Brandon Flynn, Jim Waldron, Glenn Wilson Jr. They have advanced already to the round of 32. But Holton, Costello, Berkshire, and Flynn still haven't hit yet. There's a reason why those guys are at the top of the list, because of the top guys in the world. So they're doing what they're supposed to do.
That they are.
Win. Big set for Andrew Eigner. He needs to win this set.
He's sitting in that first slot.
I mean, Andrew technically could take. Andrew can take 2nd place in that 400, but Victor Bourget would have to win the set. Hunter Knowles at 383, so he's in with a ball in play. So Hunter Knowles is in. He's in.
All right, come on, Andrew.
So Andrew Eigner and Jeff Schmuck, it's really down to these guys right here. You know what? Victor Bourget can win too. Victor's at 250, but if he wins, he'd have 450 points, which would be good. So Victor Bourget, huge set here for him. He wins, he's in. Looking at the wind, it's left to right now. Not much downwind currently. This is more of a left to right wind. Bourget with a decent ball down the right side. 196 ball speed. 160 feet in the air.
there.
Yeah, a little bit of a miss hit. You know, Victor with that club speed should be in and around like 203, 204. Hunter Knoll hitting these balls in the center of the club face though. So Hunter is 100% going to be in. Andrew Eigner in second place as of right now. Looks like he's gonna catch it. He might be as of right now. If no one else hits it in, he would get in. Schmuck now takes the lead over Eigner, which would put Schmuck in the final 8. Timothy Gregg is on the bubble. What Timothy Gregg needs right now is Victor Bourget to go 374 or 372 right now. And he would get in at 375. So Timothy Gregg needs some help here.
I wish we could get a heart monitor every time we come down to these last groups because I get so nervous for these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Victor Bourget's hitting just a little bit of mishits right here because his ball
Barely.
flight. There we go. Here we go. Hey, there we go. Everything changes. Victor Bourget. This is crazy. Timothy Gregg's going to get in at 375 points if this stays the same. It really does. He's going to get in at 375. They needed Victor Bourget to take second place. Like, we're going to wait for the underlines, but it looks like Timothy Gregg's going to get in at 375. Oh, Andrew Eigner on the last ball got him. Andrew Eigner's in. Andrew Eigner's going to take the A spot. Zach Colton, Mark Costello, Hunter Knoll, Kyle Berkshire, Brandon Flynn, Jen Waldron, Glenn Wilson Jr., and Andrew Eigner are going to make it.
Woo! All right, we're here with Hunter Knoll, who just made it to the round of 32s. Give me one expression of how you're feeling right now.
Freaking awesome. Let's go.
Yeah.
It's a blast. I'm having so much fun right now. That was great.
Take us through your game plan into performing as you did today.
Yeah. So, I mean, I normally hit a big draw, so it's tough for me right now with this wind. So I've just been really focusing on hitting a cut left to right, and I went OB earlier, went back, make some adjustments, opened the face up, went down and loft, and there we go. It's game time.
Game time. How are you feeling about going into tomorrow? What is going to be your number one goal as you go from round of 32s, hoping to make it all the way to the end?
Yeah. I mean, I got some big hitters here, so it's time to get after it. I'm going to push myself. Tomorrow we're going to really get after it. We're going to push some speeds. Tonight we're going to get some good rest, and tomorrow I'm going to come out and I'm going to kick some butt.
Let's go. I love the energy.
I'm ready. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's go. Thank you.
You heard it from him. Let's go.
Have fun, guys. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're back. Mark Costello, Zach Holton, Brandon Flynn, Kyle Berkshire are up right now. Andrew Eigner on the last ball goes 390 yards to take the second spot. So he ended up bubbling Tim Gregg, who almost got in. He got 6 balled. As we say, welcome to Long Drive.
Welcome to Long Drive.
All right, so Kyle Berkshire once again in slot number 4, doubling up here in slot 4. Brandon Flynn in slot 3, Zach Colton with 394, and Mark Costello. All of these guys currently hitting are in. Berkshire with that cut. That's the one that he was looking for. That one's in play. That one looks good. 217 ball, nice smooth swing, not much movement in that golf ball, but that's the type of ball that I want to see Kyle hit. Nice profile shot. Brandon Flynn with a 429. Berkshire 434. The wind is downwind now.
Oh, he liked that one.
Went 224. Big draw. That one doesn't look like it's going to stay in play. Let's just take a look if it does have size. It had a lot of movement, almost 70 yards of movement left to right. So the wind has picked up just a little bit. Zach Holton, 394. Brandon Flynn, 429. Kyle Berkshire,
Oh, Brandon
343.
putting a big swing on that one.
435, sorry.
Height's a little much there, but it's going to be a big number. Kyle's feeling it.
225.7. 14 launch, 1,700 spin. That's about as ideal as it could be, 217 feet in the air. Little bit of movement left to right. 26 yards of movement from Kyle. Zach Colton, 426. Brandon Flynn, 434. Berkshire, 429. So the ball flight today is left to right. It's been like that on this grid forever. Just going based off of ball speeds. I mean, Kyle was 217 and ended up going 6 yards farther with a cut than his 225 that he yelled at. So, like I said, this ball tells a story. Brandon Flynn currently is at 434. It's not underlined as of yet, but really, truly, at the end of the day, all these guys were in, so they were just getting some swings in. But Berkshire with the longest drive at 449 yards. So the one that came back 427 actually was 449. So I take back my statement. He was significantly faster and it went significantly farther.
All right, we are here with Brandon Flynn. We work with the same coach here, so it's always really exciting to see you do well. Take us through what you were thinking in this round, especially that last set where you were going all out.
Yeah, it's kind of an ego thing, you know, like when you've got Kyle Berkshire up there and you're giving him a run for your money, like you just want to press on the gas, and so that's what I did. Luckily, I was already safe in there, so this was more about having fun and, you know, seeing what was working, what wasn't. So,
did you find what is working and what you're going to bring to the grid tomorrow?
I hope so. I mean, first set I hit really well. Second set I was trying to play for the wind and started getting a little out of whack, but finally got it figured out. So. Yeah, hopefully we can bring that tomorrow too.
Don't worry, I'm always reporting straight to TC every single swing that you have. Tell us, what are you going to do this afternoon as you prepare for tomorrow? Anything fun?
You know, probably not. Probably a lot of just hanging out, sitting on the couch, lifting my legs up because, you know, I kind of got chicken legs, so they need a lot of rest with all that we're doing out here. So
yeah, get some hydration in.
Yeah, I need to drink a lot of fluid, so yes.
Awesome. Thanks, Brandon. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Always great to see you on the grid.
All right, we're finished through 3 groups: Kyle Berkshire, Zach Colton, Mark Costello, Hunter Knoll, Brandon Flynn, Glenn Wilson Jr., Jim Waldron, and Andrew Eigner are going to advance. We will be back at 2:30 Pacific Standard Time with the final group. 16 more guys are going to fight for 8 spots. 24 men are on to day number 2. We'll be back right after this.